So that, we've had lots of emails about this subject from residents and social media, but one in particular was very striking, was from a barrister who was writing in a personal capacity. And that barrister basically thought that the Tower Hamlets Council hadn't met its public sector equality duty, and in particular hadn't done a good job in equality impact assessments, because when that person read what had actually been published, they had a lot of questions, and they asked quite detailed legal type questions of Tower Hamlets Council, and just didn't get satisfactory responses.
This set of hearings, potentially 4 hearings in areas throughout Tower Hamlets that have had an experience of the Livable Streets consultation are being implemented, starting in Wapping, then going over to either Bow or Bethnal Green, 2 separate hearings there, and then eventually coming down to Shadwell and Whitechapel, which has been quite contentious because I live in on the borders of Shadwell and Whitechapel, and it has become very contentious. I know my colleagues, the local Labour colleagues, the 3 councillors are under pressure from residents. There is an open letter that's being passed around. Last time I looked, nearly 700 residents have signed in the Whitechapel ward, and also in Shadwell.
Paramedic who wanted to remain anonymous, but obviously the magazine has got that person's name, basically wrote a letter to Private Eye magazine because they knew they were campaigning on this issue about an experience of an emergency phone call. I'll just read it out. On a recent job, we were literally at the end of a street adjoining the road the cardiac arrest was on. Due to the barricade, we had to take an almost 5-minute detour around the side streets before we found our way to the address. 5 minutes probably doesn't seem too long. However, whoever came up with the idea of the barriers, but to a London ambulance service crew trying to get to a cardiac arrest patient with that first shock, it slashes our chances of a viable rescuation. In this case, the patient did not survive. We're not able to call attention to the issue because our internal problem reporting software only allows us to report equipment or personnel failures within the London ambulance service. There is no way for us to quantify the number of fatal delays caused by the council's arbitrary road closures, and no structure in place for us to report this. With a huge spike in COVID-related cardiac arrest calls we've seen in the past few months, these barricades are literally killing patients. Yeah. And that's the view of an ambulance paramedic.
Well, something to think about, and hopefully next Friday, me and Andrew will announce the full program, and we want to get your experiences, etc., about livable streets, about the consultation. If you're in an area that has had it implemented, what the experience has been, etc., because we want to get to the facts, and that's important. We need more facts, we need more light, less heat, and let's get to the bottom of it. So we're going to